Have you ever scrolled through the news, seen the headlines about wars, earthquakes, famines, and pandemics, and thought to yourself, is this it? Are we living in the end times? It's a question that has crossed the minds of many people throughout history. The idea of the end of the world can be confusing and, honestly, a little scary. The Bible talks about it, but different theologians and pastors sometimes interpret these passages in very different ways, which can make it even more confusing. So, how are we supposed to make sense of it all? What does the Bible actually say? While there are many different viewpoints on the specific details, there are three core truths that followers of Jesus can hold on to. Three anchors that can give us peace and clarity in a world that often feels chaotic. Let's dive into these together and see what we can learn. First, and this is the big one, the Bible is clear that this world as we know it will have an end. This isn't just some vague idea from an obscure text. Jesus himself spoke about it directly. In the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 24, Jesus' disciples ask him what the sign of his coming and of the end of the age will be. He doesn't shy away from the question. He tells them, "Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away." That's a pretty definitive statement. He's saying that the physical world we inhabit is temporary. Jesus also gives some signs that would precede this end. He talks about an increase in turmoil on a global scale. He says, "You will hear of wars and rumors of wars. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places." Now, it's important to remember that these things have happened throughout history. But Jesus seems to indicate that their frequency and intensity will increase, like birth pains before a new arrival. But here's where the story takes a turn from destruction to incredible hope. The end isn't just an ending, it's a transition. The Apostle John in the book of Revelation was given a vision of what comes next. He writes, "Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth. For the first heaven and the first earth had passed away." This isn't about God just hitting a reset button on a broken world. It's about a complete and glorious restoration. A world without pain, without sorrow, without death. So, while the idea of the world ending can seem frightening, the biblical promise is that it's actually the beginning of something far more wonderful and permanent. The old broken system will be replaced by God's perfect new creation. The second key point is something that can be hard for our modern information-obsessed minds to accept. How and when it will all happen is a mystery. We love having timelines, schedules, and 5-step plans. We want to know the when. We want to circle a date on our calendars. But Jesus was incredibly clear on this point. Going back to that same conversation with his disciples in Matthew 24. After describing the signs, he says something profound. "But about that day or hour no one knows, not even the angels in heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father." If Jesus himself, in his time on earth, didn't know the exact timing, it's a powerful lesson for us in humility. It means that anyone who claims to have figured out the exact date or time of the end is going against the direct words of Jesus. He even uses a powerful analogy to drive the point home. He says his return will be like a thief in the night. Now, what does a thief do? A thief doesn't send you a save-the-date card. They don't call ahead to let you know they're coming. They arrive unexpectedly at a time you're not prepared. The purpose of this analogy isn't to scare us, but to motivate us. Because Jesus doesn't know the time, the instruction isn't to try and calculate it. Instruction is to be ready. This call to readiness isn't about stocking up on canned goods or building a bunker, though being prepared for emergencies is always wise. The readiness Jesus talks about is spiritual. It's about the state of our hearts. Are we living each day in a way that honors God? Are we loving our neighbors? Are we focused on the things that have eternal value? Living with the expectation of Jesus' return at any moment changes our daily priorities. It shifts our focus from temporary worries to eternal significance. It encourages a life of constant connection with God, not a last-minute scramble to get things right. The mystery of the timing is actually a gift, inviting us into a daily, moment-by-moment relationship with Him. This leads us to our third, and perhaps most practical and comforting truth for our lives right now. Jesus promises His help to face every single challenge of life. Believing in Jesus isn't a magic ticket to a trouble-free existence. The Bible never promises that. In fact, Jesus was very upfront that in this world, we will have trouble. Followers of Jesus get sick, they lose jobs, they face heartbreak, they experience grief, just like everyone else. The promise isn't the absence of storms. It's the presence of an unshakable anchor in the midst of them. Jesus says in John 16:33, "I have told you these things, so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart. I have overcome the world." This is a promise of divine companionship and strength. It means that no matter what you are facing today, whether it's a small daily frustration or a life-altering crisis, you do not have to face it alone. Think about it this way: nothing you will ever encounter in your life can take God by surprise. The thing that is rocking your world right now did not catch Him off guard. He knew about it before it happened, and He has a plan to walk with you through it. This applies to the biggest trouble of all, the end of the world. Even that cataclysmic event is not a surprise to God. He's not anxiously pacing the halls of heaven, wondering how it will all play out. He is sovereign and in complete control. This promise of help is accessible to everyone. Jesus invites us to cast our anxieties on Him because He cares for us. When we feel overwhelmed by the news, by personal struggles, or by the uncertainty of the future, we are invited to turn to Him in prayer and find help and peace that surpasses all understanding. He promises to provide strength when we are weak, comfort when we are mourning, and wisdom when we are confused. This is the bedrock of our faith, not that bad things won't happen, but that God is with us and for us in the midst of them, all the way to the very end and into the glorious new beginning. So, to recap these three pillars of understanding: 1. The world as we know it will end, but it will be replaced by a new, perfect heaven and earth. It's an ending that leads to a beautiful beginning. 2. The exact timing of how this all unfolds is a mystery known only to God the Father. Our role isn't to predict, but to be spiritually ready, living each day for Him. And 3. Tone, and most importantly, for our daily lives. Jesus promises His unwavering help and presence to navigate every single challenge we face, big or small. The headlines might be scary, and the future might seem uncertain. But for those who put their trust in Jesus, we have a hope that is secure, a peace that is unshakable, and a helper who will never leave our side. We don't need to live in fear of the future because we know the one who holds the future in His hands. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If this message encouraged you or gave you a new perspective, I'd be so grateful if you'd give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel for more content like this. It really helps us reach more people. May you go forward with peace and confidence, knowing you are never alone. God bless.